This episode is sponsored by Circle K. Get the most savings on every gallon when you fuel with the Circle K Fleet Card. Learn more at CircleKFleetCards.com.
Welcome to Faces of Fleet, an interview series from Work Truck, where we take a more personal look at the many interesting people in Fleet and some of the experiences that helped shape them into who they are today. Before we get started, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss an episode. I'm Lauren Fletcher, Executive Editor of Work Truck, and today I'm chatting with Joe Mossbarger and Brian Seeley of Buyers Products. Joe is the plant manager for the 8200 building, which contains the aluminum toolbox and stainless manufacturing divisions of Buyers Products. He absolutely enjoys being outside, from hiking to biking to fishing. Joe is also a woodworker, mountain biker, and RC enthusiast. Brian is also a plant manager at Buyers Products and has loved heavy manufacturing since college. Managing a Buyers plant allows him to be directly involved with taking flat steel and turning it into something awesome, like a municipal plow, for example. Brian also loves riding his mountain bikes. Thanks for joining me, Joe and Brian.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for the time.
Oh, I'm excited. So I just shared a quick intro, but how did you both get started in Fleet and over at Buyers? Joe, let's start with you.
So I was at my previous employer for about 13 years and I was coming up and kind of due for a change. So I had a good friend working here at Buyers and he was bugging me and saying, hey, you got to come check this company out. You know, we make some pretty cool stuff, growing and, just a great environment to work in. So I came up, checked it out. I've always been a bit of a gearhead. So, the product and the market were definitely right up my alley. And now I've been here for about 2.5 years.
Awesome. And Brian?
Similar story for me. I was at my previous employer for quite a while, which was a large tier or OEM automotive manufacturer. So I've been in the automotive industry for quite a few years. And I had a friend there actually who interviewed here and gave me a call and said, hey, I think you'd really like this company. And I started about 4 weeks after Joe. So we're both at like the 2.5 year mark.
Awesome. And one of the things I've heard you both have in common has to do with 2 wheels, not 4. Can you explain this hobby a little bit more? Brian, why don't you kick this one off?
Yeah, so I've always ridden BMX. I've been into bikes since I was a kid, and even as an adult. There's quite a few skate parks around here that I go to, and I take my kids there. And so I was in the market for a bike to kind of cruise around the city, and was talking to Joe. And next thing I know, the next week I was spending a few $1,000s on a mountain bike, and then the rest has been history, riding mountain bikes with Joe.
It's not an inexpensive hobby. Joe, how about you? How'd you get started?
So I am guilty of getting Brian into the mountain bikes and spending money for him. So, but I started back in college. I went to college down in Southern Ohio, Ohio University, and rode all through college. Lots of trails around Ohio University, a lot of opportunities. But then, as I got out of college and family, got away from it for a bit. But about 8 years ago, I got back into it and discovered the network of trails that we had around Northeast Ohio. And just love it. And now, my family's starting to do it. My wife does it occasionally. My son is, 12 and he's really picking up on it. So, he's like, hey, when are we going riding with Seeley again? So we actually kind of do it all together. It's fun. It's a great opportunity to kind of just, get out and stretch your legs a little bit, get some exercise and have some fun doing it. So
That's great. And what about riding a bike impacts your work day? For example, how do your experiences on a bike impact how you handle maybe a difficult situation at work? Joe, what are your thoughts?
So Brian and I are both in, the plant manager roles, and they can be a bit of a hot seat at times. Buyers is a very customer focused company, and we push very hard to meet customer demand. And, with that comes quite a bit of stress. They can be pretty busy days. So it is nice to have something that we can count on to kind of go out and just clear your head in an evening and get some exercise while you're doing it. That way you come back kind of fresh the next day and you're ready to go.
Brian, what about you?
Yeah, just to echo what Joe said, it's like he said, it is a hot seat a lot of times, and along with the pressure, it's nice after work to, or on a weekend to spend a couple of hours out in the trails and not think about anything else. So it's definitely a good stress reliever.
And how has writing connected you more with other employees at Buyers? I mean, we've clearly heard how it's connected you two, but has it gone beyond the two of you guys?
Yeah, uh, it's always been, I've utilized the indoor parks in previous lives and here as kind of a team building exercise because you don't have to be an expert in previous lives. When people came in from Detroit, instead of everyone goes out to dinner, that's pretty standard. But you take someone to a bike park and which is a converted old factory, it's pretty cool. So unfortunately, one of the quality engineers here just broke his ankle. We were there on January 1st, and he snapped his ankle. So he's been out of work since then. But that's what we do.
That's a part of it. Joe, what about you?
So yeah, we seems like every time we turn around, we find somebody else who's into it, and we do have a couple folks that are relatively serious about it. That a couple of our continuous improvement leaders, they actually race mountain bikes, quite a bit, and we have some engineers that ride. So we like to get together. It's kind of nice to get outside of work and again just relax together, build that camaraderie. It's a great tool for that.
That's awesome. I know we've got some amazing mountain bike trail systems out here in Central Oregon. So if you guys ever get to Bend, come, check out
Yeah,
Phil's
right.
Trail. I've done it a few times myself and, not without the bumps and bruises, but a lot of memories and a lot of fun.
Yeah,
And bringing
awesome.
it back, what is it about the truck fleet industry that inspires you the most? Let's see, Joe, let's start with you.
So, as I mentioned, always been kind of a gearhead, working on anything I could find throughout my life. And the industry is just really kind of a cool industry. You see what some of these companies do with these trucks and, using our plows, on the big turnpike trucks are, it's pretty impressive. So to kind of see that you're part of that, drive down the road, see your product. And here in Northeast Ohio lately, we've seen a lot of the snow plows and salt spreaders running around. Um, but it just, there's a lot of pride in it. We have a lot of hardworking people here in Northeast Ohio making these things. And it's just nice to see their hard work out there, helping others do their job.
That's awesome. And Brian, what about you?
Yeah, it's being in Cleveland, we're in the Rust Belt. Our economy is very manufacturing focused, and so it's great to see the all the products and most of our products or all of our products here are made in the U.S. and that's great and carries a lot of pride when you see a snow dog or a salt dog on the highway. So yeah, it carries a lot of pride with it.
That's awesome. And one more thing I want to throw both of your guys' way before we finish up. What about a crash? Any big crash stories that you guys have to share before we shut down? Brian, let's see. What do you got for us?
I had a rookie mistake actually this past summer with Joe, and I was behind him, and we were going down a downhill, and both of my hands slipped off the bars, and I flipped over. Joe left me for dead, and we didn't realize until afterwards. The next ride, the next week, I got my helmet actually out of the back of my car, and we both looked at my helmet. It was kind of smashed in on the back where I had flipped over and hit something harder than the helmet in order to smash it in. So,
Well,
yeah, pretty
value of
exciting.
safety equipment, I think, being on display right there. That's
Yeah.
for sure. Joe, what about you?
So a couple of years ago, I took a trip with a friend of mine down to Snowshoe, which is a big ski mountain that's open during the summers for mountain biking, and it was a great trip. We spent all morning doing the lift service, so that was even nicer. Don't have to pedal up a hill. Having a great time after lunch. Went, got the afternoon started heading down the hill and just over jumped a pretty good jump. I think I hit it about 24 mile an hour, which was pretty fast for me, and ended up off the trail, smashing a tree. It shortened my trip a little bit. I ended up pretty black and blue. Probably lucky I didn't break anything, but as Brian, the proper safety gear is always on us because, we're not getting any younger. And, but yeah, it was a great trip. I can't wait to go back and conquer it a little more successfully next time. And, yeah, I think for the most part, we try to ride within our means. And most of the time we're successful, but we have fun and usually we try to capture most of those on video and have great stories to take home.
That's awesome. I know a lot about, falling down is learning how to get back up again. So, Brian and Joe, thank you again so much for taking the time to chat with me and share a little bit about your past and experiences.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time. Buyers is a great company. We do a lot to try to take care of the customer, and getting to share our personal stories is a great opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. And for anyone interested in learning more about Buyer's products or to watch more episodes of Faces of Fleet or Truck Chat, check out the links below. As always, thanks for tuning in. Hit that like button and comment below to let me know who I should be chatting with next. And be on the lookout for more episodes of Truck Chat coming soon, where I'll continue to focus on the people and the issues that matter most to work truck fleets. Thanks.